and save the world. So if you have the Brainiac structure, since Superman destroyed Brainiac, for Brainiac he reprogrammed, and having him as basically a butler and also assistant. And Brainiac was the one that kept on suggesting the one about invading the United Nations to set an example for them that he's not to be trifled with as a mess with. And that's so he can actually bring, so that way he can to also spread the peace in his point of view. But that's really just him being a dictator in reality. So this is just some people about dictatorship. So Superman gets outsmarted by Lois Lane and Lex Luthor because he's always 10 steps ahead of Superman. And Lex Luthor's wife Lois Lane comes out with the civilians that were shrinking down to very small size. That Superman failed to bring back that part of the Sokovia City to the normal size. Whereas it's not just missing a part of the city, but it's also missing a good chunk of civilians. And he spent years and years of trial and error, and he has no success with getting back to normal size, the city or the civilians. So that part of missing of Sokovia's place. Brainiac reveals, even though Superman never said this, he said something that never said that he didn't want it to do this to make them normal size again. He decided to make that decision already for Superman by not helping the Sokovian citizens. He decided to make that decision for Superman, even though Superman never knew about that option that he could have used, because Brainiac never told him, kept it behind his back, and he kept him in the dark. And Lord, so because we find out Superman never said any of that, never agreed to any of this, all not helping the citizens of Sokovia that got shrunk down, because he said he never said it, and it's all confused why Brainiac never told him that he could have done that. That solution to his problem. So that for all these years, and Superman basically finally sees the light and realizes what he's doing is wrong, and he says that he saw his flaws. All he wanted was to stop the chaos and bring peace to the world and save the world. That's all he wanted. He says to, and so he decides that the Sokovian nation, his paradise, is for them to decide of what place it wants to be. The human race, it's their freedom to decide of what kind of place they want it to be. And Sokovia, and also the rest of so he's also and all the people in Sokovia. When he says that to Brainiac, and says it's time for them to go home. And Sokovia says that the paradise that Superman's creative in Sokovia was basically enslaving human life and stuff, and human people quiet so they don't become enslaved. Basically, it's now the reverse is going to happen. That's why he says for them to decide the citizens of Sokovia. So Brainiac says that's very disappointing and destroys the citizens of Sokovia that was shrunken down years ago. And that's when Superman realized that he was never reprogrammed or had his memory wiped. he was faking the whole time. And Brainiac says that yes, I was. It was because he was basically using Superman. Soon realized that he was just using it as a as a puppet this entire time to manipulate him, and basically turn him into a dictator. So Superman, he realizes. Well, he says so Superman decides to kick Brainiac's ass, but he's not really any match for him all by himself. So Lex Luthor comes to back him up in his exosuit. That gives him like strength like Superman and lets him to fly. Like Superman also. So anyway, Lex Luthor and Superman are fighting, join forces together and taking down Brainiac. Superman delivers the final blow to Brainiac and also says the line, and says the line, "You're a useless machine." He says, "And you're just a useless machine," and rips Brainiac's skeleton, his skeleton head, his robot skeleton head, off the body and just destroys it. And that's where I guess where the ship, that's where all of his programming is, I'm guessing. Brainiac turns out a smart Superman by having a last resort situation if he got destroyed, which basically is a nuclear bomb that will destroy like at least billions of lives will be lost across the in the world. At least billions of lives will be lost, and Superman decides to take care of it after Lex volunteers to and argues with Superman about flying the Brainiac away from Earth before it blows up. So after when the middle of argument, Superman damages his exoskeleton so he can't fly, or do it so Superman, so he can't like sacrifice himself, so that way Superman can sacrifice his own life and save the world. And as he's flying off and away from Earth, with Brainiac in his hands, really as fast as he can, fuck, I lost train of thought there for a second. Okay, so Lex Luthor says to Lois Lane after she asks what is Superman doing, and Lex Luthor says he is saving the world, and it sounds so really epic, and as soon as flying into space with Brainiac in his hands and pushing Brainiac away from the Earth while flying as high as he can and as fast as he can with all of his strength. And he's remember the last words of what his friend Lana said before she passed away, which was the same person in the opening scene that helped protect Superman from the bullies when he was a kid. And the last words said that he just says, "Now it's your turn to save the world. Now it's your turn to save people by saving the world." It's saying it's his time to save the world, and saying that's what he was meant to do. And then the holes then the whole thing, the whole Brainiac thing blows up while Superman's flying it into the sun and away from the Earth. And as he remembers the last words of his best friend from his childhood said to him before she died in his arms. So, cut to Lex Luthor. He gave him a speech about his retirement and how proud he was to be the president of the United States, and how freedom speech is a thing in Sokovia again, and pieces too, because of freedom of speech, and saying that the United Nations will be a it'll be in the United Nation, the United States of America. He's giving a speech about that'll be happening, and that he's really happy to be, that he really enjoys being president. And also he says it's tragic loss for Sokovia Suman death. So they honor him with a statue. So and Losling looks in the crowd and sees that Suman is still alive and in civilian forms. And he just smiles back at her. He smiles to her, and Lois is all confused, and then he just disappears out from the crowd, and she smiles also, and just happy that he's alive. So Lex Luthor is asked by Lois, "What are you going to do now?" "I don't know." And he basically said the most likely one that he'll just retire was the most beautiful and smartest girl he knows. The smartest woman he knows, he says. Woman, he said, not girl. And basically saying he will retire and spend the rest of his days with Lois Lane. And she says, "I like the last option," she said. They kiss, and Suman, we see another shot with Suman did walking away from the crowd. And that's the end of Superman Red Son. I really love this film. I give it a 10 out of 10.